guys, Javier from That Racing Channel. Welcome back to another episode out here at TX2K22 at Houston Raceway Park. Behind me, you guys know this car really well. We've got Myles and his 1994 Acura Integra. It makes north of 1,400 wheel horsepower. It's all-wheel drive now. This thing is so sick. Let's go ahead and catch up with him and see what's going on. What's up, Myles?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good, man, good. So give us a rundown. How's it been going so far?
It's been not good. Let's just say got some new stuff in the car. Got a new turbo. It's technically the next gen 7685, which seemingly pretty badass already. And then I have a new PPG 4-speed transmission in the car with a really tall fourth gear. And really, I've just got to learn how to drive the car again, is what it really come down to. It's changed so much that the shifter that I used to have, that I still have, it's just not quite as golden as I need it to be right now. And so my 2-3 shift's been a bit of a problem. Let's just say I've only made it in once. So
that being said, it still wasn't a slouch, you know. So
no,
how'd you do mile an hour wise?
It's still at 181, which I guess, yeah, a couple years ago, that's awesome. But when you're like, you got all-wheel drive now, you make more power and everything, and you're still going just as fast, doesn't feel as good. But yeah, looking at everything that was, I can understand why it was only 180 mile an hour pass. So
you're sorting out the bugs.
Exactly, yeah. Just getting back to, I mean, I haven't driven the car since September, October, basically, since the last half mile. So.
All right, man, well, good luck out there.
All right,
we'll catch up with you soon.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, wow.
That Integra
Just smacked the shit out of me.
up, buddy?
I didn't know if he was there
was
next to me the whole time,
of a close
but I
race.
let out early because I knew I was going too fast.
Dude, how did that go? 190?
194. Yeah.
That's flying, my man.
Yeah, it's feeling good.
How did it feel? It looked all over the place.
It was, yeah, it was the same. Same as it was.
Driving that thing, dude.
Well, you got to kind of drive it a bit here and
How
there.
does the shifting feel?
Good. If I hit his shifter, it'd be better, but it's working good.
Get him a shifter, bro.
Well, I don't want to change anything right now, just in case. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. How does it feel? Is it sketchy with the wind and everything? Or?
It's actually not sketchy
too
with the
bad.
wind. I think it's just like on the verge of traction, and whichever tire has the most, it hooks there, and then the other tire actually spins. So that's why it gets like this, and you're going like this. It's like an open diff that's kind of like half getting traction and half not, and you're just kind of going like that. So,
Yeah. Hey, man. But you got that W.
yeah, I got the W. I'll take that win.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
We'll see you in the next round.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Hell yeah, bro.
Like you want the win, but then it's like when he's like, you broke out, and I'm like, oh, where'd it go? He's like 202. I'm like, I'll take the 202.
Hell yeah, man.
I was like, man, I feel like I'm going fast. Like I feel like I'm like, but I can't see where he's at, so I don't know where he's at, and if he's right there, I don't want to let off. So it's like, you know,
That's it, man.
We'll take the 202 though.
Hell yeah.
I'll take that.
That's your best by far.
Yes.
So what was your previous best before that?
193 front wheel drive, 194 just before that. So 202 is a big jump.
Honestly, that's 200's a tall order for a little 4-cylinder, man.
I think 200 tall order for any car here,
Anything.
because like if you really know how fast some of these cars are, you're like, wow, like 200's fast, and yeah, that's quick. I
yeah.
kind of anticipated 200 to 205 was kind of my number, so I'll take the 202.
That's it, man.
The loss, but I'll take the 202.
That's it, man. You're the
Yeah.
you're the champion of the 4-cylinder here
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah, thank you.
Holding it down for the 4-cylinders,
trying.
my man.
We're just holding it down for
in
the
a sea of V10s
and the sea of everything else.
6-cylinders.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So that's good. I'll take it. I don't care. I'm good.
So now you broke out that fast?
Yeah, I lost. Yeah. I lost. They came to him, and
Good way
he's
to lose then.
well, I really won, but I lost. Because there's a video of me gapping a car, so I feel like I win, but then I lost.
Yeah.
So I'll take it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. My name is Myles from English Racing here. I'm the shop manager there these days, and this is my 1994 Acura Integra. I've had this car since it was 100% stock. Bought it in, I think, 2006. Stock airbox, stock suspension, stock 94 GSR wheels. Like, we're talking, literally got it from like a second owner car. I've been slowly, progressively building this car for pretty much ever since then. I mean, it's made 1420 on the dyno. I'd like to think right now it's probably making over 1500 to the wheels with the new turbo and setup on it. It's all-wheel drive, so that utilizes a base transmission from like a 99 CRV. Obviously this is a B-series, so you got K-series and B-series options, and it uses a Speed Factory billet bell housing, Speed Factory billet transfer case. It's a PPG 4-speed dog box. I utilize the wagon viscous with 60K fluid and a wagon rear end. It has the FCS Race all-wheel drive kit in the rear, and then it's got drive shaft shop 2-piece carbon drive line with drive shaft shop, rear axles, and front 5.9s. It's pretty basic motor build. BME rod, BME piston, Speed Factory spec. Type R crank. Howard or AR Fab did the sleeves, start and sleeve, and he actually assembled this motor this year. Last year or 2 years ago, I had assembled it myself. I was kind of at a time constraint, so Howard's like, hey, I'm just gonna assemble it. And I'm like, all right, use these specifications, and that's pretty much it. So it's the same motor that I went 216.5 mile on. And
here we go. Myles Kerr, 216.65 miles an hour. That is your new four-cylinder all-wheel drive record in a half mile.
Seemingly been doing pretty good. Top end is basically GSC Power Division cams, valve springs, valves, Ferrea 7-degree keepers, and I would say doing pretty good so far. It's got a 4-piston ported head on top of that. So a couple years ago, I told JR, the owner of Extreme Turbo Systems, and Michael that I wanted to go 200.5, and they're like, well, we need to build a different turbo kit. So they built the manifold, did the intercooler piping, did the intercooler itself. It's got a 5-inch Super Core intercooler on it, and it's got a twin 44 mil wastegates, and it's got a next gen Precision 7685. It's a brand new turbo with a custom new compressor cover, and as of right now, I would say it blows the 7685 Gen 2 out of the water. Yesterday, I think I ran 70 pounds of boost, which is the most I've ever ran. So I finally felt like I crossed a threshold. It was pretty awesome. That was at, in 4th gear, about 8,300 RPMs, held 69, almost 70 pounds out the top of the RPM. And it's been, I mean, somehow it's still holding together. It's got a surge tank in the front. It's got an FCS 5.5 gallon fuel cell in the rear. It has a fuel pump feeding the surge tank. Surge tank's fed by a Bosch 044 in the rear, and then it feeds the engine with a mechanical 12 gallon per minute fuel pump, 100-pound base on the fuel injectors, and then it's got 2 sets of ID 2600cc injectors right at 100-pound base, which I think they end up being like a 4,000cc injector at that time. At 70 pounds of boost, it was like 81 or 2% injector duty on methanol, because that's what I run on. It has a Skunkture Ultra intake manifold, Bosch 82 mil drive-by-wire throttle body, GTR drive-by-wire throttle pedal, and utilizes a Motec M150 with a John Reed Racing B-series package on it. Motec PDM, Rywire did the entire engine harness on it. So like my windows still work, my turn signals still work, lights still work, everything still works like factory practically. And it's been a real fun car to drive over the years. I've just enjoyed trying to go faster. I think I came to TX2K in 2014 when they had it on the banked Texas Speedway, and I think I was going like 160, 165 back then. And you know, yesterday I did 202 and basically 1,500 feet, which if you've ever been to this event, it might be hard to grasp what that takes to do when you have 1,500 horse GTRs going like 185, 190. You're like, holy, that's really fast. So I've been pretty happy with it so far. One of the things I always wanted to talk about on the all-wheel drive Hondas and from my testing so far is the viscous coupler that you get. You can get different fluids, and really all it is the fluid is thicker, and it ends up, once it gets to a certain power level, it just overpowers the viscous, and the power stays to the front. In short, easiest way to say it. I tested the 60K fluid at about 1,000 wheel. Our dyno has an option to unlink it, so each wheel is individually driving, or each roller is being individually driven. And at like 980 wheel, it was a true 50-50% front to rear. I don't know how much it actually puts down to the front or rear, but when someone tells you, oh, it's 30%, that number is not quite accurate. It's actually a power number of some sort. I know there's at some point where that number is gonna change, but I don't know what that number, I don't know what the power number is. It's a torque number or power, whatever you want to call it. It overpowers it at some point. So as of yesterday, I was running, I think, 55 pounds in second gear, which is gotta be over 1,200 wheel. The front was spinning at about an 8 to 10% more than the rear. So I was riding traction control all of second gear and some parts of third gear too. and third gear was about 68, almost 70 pounds of boost, which I had an estimate over of 1450, 1500 to the wheels. If you put let's say a thinner fluid in there, it's gonna overpower that sooner, and it's gonna act more like a front wheel drive car. This isn't to be confused like an Evo or most other all wheel drive cars that have center diffs. This doesn't have a center diff. This is a direct drive with a viscous in the middle. When an Evo has a center diff, they can control power front to rear based on traction. So it's a little bit of a difference in that. It's inherently a front wheel drive car all the time, depending on whatever fluid you have. Thought about going down in fluid, but right now, until I start breaking more hypoid gears and stuff, which I do have stock hypoid gears, and I will be upgrading to the PPG hypoid gears here real soon as they're available again, then I'll be able to launch the car. That's why I'm not drag racing it, because it just makes too much power and it weighs too much to be able to try and get this car to 60 foot something. If I had to estimate, one of the GTRs buddies I was talking to yesterday, his car's trapped 187 in the quarter, almost 188, and he went 202 yesterday in the roll race, just like I did. I feel, based on my numbers and where I shifted it and what I think the car can go 205 to maybe 207 or 8 in the roll race, which would equate to about a 190, 192 or 3 mile an hour trap car in the quarter mile, which is pretty fast for what these cars are. So I came out here with a brand new tranny, same shifters I had before, with a hybrid shifter, hybrid race cables, and I had a 5-speed before, and I had to end up, because at the time hybrid didn't have a B-series, and I liked their shifter the most, and I needed a shifter that could shift the 4.5 because I had a 5-speed. So I took their shifter and the race cables, and I had to shorten the shifter to fit the throw and everything that tranny had. Well, when I came down here with the new PPG, it was unfortunately a real difficult car to shift from second to third, and I am strain gauge shifting, no clutch, so no lockouts on the shifter, and shifting 2-3 and 3-4. So I kept shifting second to third, and I kept trying to hit a 5th gear gate, so my first 2 passes didn't do anything good. I think I went 168 with like a second and a half of no acceleration, because I didn't get anywhere, right? Aaron Lopez was like, yeah, I had this problem about 8 years ago, so I made a little lockout for the shifter. So to be able to race it this weekend, I can't put it into reverse with this little lockout that's made, but I can shift the 2-3 and the 3-4 flawlessly. So I came out, did a pass, did 181. I was like, man, I got to get out there and qualify again, because I don't think I'm going to make the field this year, because at that time there were, it looked like I was bottom of like the lowest class. So I went out again. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this thing's gonna go 190 something. Goes 191, and it puts me in middle of the bracket roughly in the Super Sport class. And the Super Sport class about 2 years ago, that mile an hour that I did 191 would have been bottom or middle of the unlimited class. So this class got a lot faster. To beat in the class in anything, I feel like you're doing pretty damn good. You get in there and you've got a car like this, you're like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Well, I've always just I've had goals with the car. I want to go 200 in the quarter or in the roll race, and so here I am. First round eliminations, I go out. I'm pretty sure this car can go 200, and I have a 5 mile an hour breakout rule. So number 1 qualifier went 194.95. And they have a 5 mile an hour breakout so that they don't have people sandbagging, come out and running 215 in the lower class and taking a win. So the fastest mile an hour allowed in that class was 199.9, I believe. So I went out 194. I don't remember what car it was, a GTR, I believe. I think I yanked them a couple cars, and I just made sure to stay ahead of them the whole time. And I let off a little earlier to go 194. Next pass, I come up next to a pretty fast stock motor R8 from Boost Logic. His name's Heath. He's talking about like a high 2 second 60 to 130 car, which I've never really tried 60 to 130 in this. I feel it should be somewhere in the 2.8 to 2.9 range, but I've never specifically tried. So he's like, yeah, I just went 193, and and doesn't have any left in it. We're on the limit of the stock motor, clutch, everything. I'm like, you want to just let me win? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, well, in my eyes at that point, I was like, well, if I break out, I'm okay with it because I've gone 200, right? If I break out, I've met the goal. I came out, I literally have to launch this thing in first gear to get up to speed fast enough, get it in second. I'm on the brakes hard, about 25 pounds, almost 30 pounds of boost on the brakes, brake boosting it, and I let go. I can see in the log it spun, front wheel spun all of second gear. I short shifted, got in third. The car got a little squirrely. You might see in the video, it kind of goes like this. I can see one wheel spin like 25 miles an hour more than the other in the front, and then I just short shift in the fourth and hold it. I think I put about 4 cars on that car from between top of second and third gear, and I just held it there. I didn't know where he was. I can't see where he's at. I shift in the fourth, I stay there, and I cross the line, and I knew I won, but I didn't know if I broke out. I was pretty sure, I'm like, yeah, I think I broke out. Got to the end down there. The guy's like, hey man, you lost. I'm like, I lost, what happened? He's like, oh, you broke out. And I'm like, ooh, where did I go? He goes 202. I was like, yeah, I was happy with that. Like, I don't think people understand what it takes to go 200 miles an hour in 1,500 feet. I mean, you're talking, you have to have a high 180 trap car in the quarter mile, how it sits to do that. So it's been a goal for a while. I thought I could do it front wheel drive. I went 193 front wheel drive at a little less power, and I was down a lot to the 8th, so I'm always playing catch up. Now being all wheel drive, it's like I instantly take off from every car, and I'm loving the all wheel drive swap right now. It's been pretty awesome. So I got kicked out and we're booted out basically for going too fast, which is not usually something you get in any kind of car, but I understand the rules of breakout, and I agree with them. I'm hoping to come back next year. I think we'll see if I go any faster. I do believe it can go 205 to 210. How much more the motor can hold at this power level, at this boost, I mean, that's the real question here. We'll find out next year.